So in this lesson I'm going to show you how to play an open A major chord the way I do it. I'm going to give you a little bit of theory, not too much, nothing to roll your eyes about. And finally I'm going to show you a couple of alternative versions as well. So stick around till the end. Let's go. So for the A major chord I use 3 fingers, and these ones in particular, the 2nd, 3rd and the 4th finger. And if you look at the diagram there, you'll see where I've got my fingers positioned. I've got the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D or 4th string. I've got the 3rd finger on the same fret, the 2nd fret of the G or 3rd string, and the 4th finger goes on the same fret again on the B string or the 2nd string. And it should give you a lovely, beautiful major chord sound like this. And for me, the great thing about this chord is how you can change from A to E relatively easy, from A to B also pretty easily too. Also going from A to A minor, like so. It's just a matter of changing the 2nd finger and replacing it with the 1st at the 1st fret. So here's a touch of theory for you, and we're talking about the A major chord, and we need 3 notes to make a major chord, also known as a triad. And there's the A major scale. And to make a major chord, an A major chord, what we need is the 1st note, the 3rd note and the 5th note. And in this case it's going to be an A, C sharp and an E. So those 3 notes make up a basic major triad for A. And looking on the guitar, if you see my fingers and if you see on the diagram too, you'll see that the major triad begins at the 2nd fret of the G string, the 3rd string, that's A. The 2nd fret of the B gives us a C sharp note, and this open string is our E note. But you'll also see that the other 2 strings that we play, the 5th string is an A, the 4th string at the 2nd fret is an E. We can actually play the open 6th string if we wanted to, but for me I find that a little bit too muddy, too much of a mess. I prefer it to be dampened so that the lowest note in that chord is in fact an A note. A couple of alternatives now, and here's the first one. And this first one, again, it uses 3 fingers, but instead of the 2nd, 3rd and 4th, it uses the 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Again, at the same frets, so if you look at my fingers, and also you can see the diagram there, the position is exactly the same. But, you know, to me, this feels more difficult because I feel like I have to add more pressure. And the grip at the back of the guitar is also slightly uncomfortable for me. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. But it doesn't feel as good, it doesn't feel as comfortable. And you get the same sound, of course. The second alternative uses the same fingers as the first alternative, the 1st, 2nd and 3rd, but it's actually shaped like a D chord. If you know your D chord, and check the link in the description for a lesson on that, you'll see that the D chord is like this. And if we transfer all of those fingers in the same position onto the 2nd fret, we have it like that there. So you've got the 1st finger, the 3rd finger, and then on the B string, the 2nd string, we have the 2nd finger. And of course it sounds exactly the same. Now, some people favour this one because they've got slightly, I hate to say it, fatter fingers. And the chord is easier to play because of that. But for me, it feels a little bit squashed, a little bit uncomfortable. However, I think this is also the way that Buddy Holly played it, so what do I know? If you're getting value out of this lesson, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and press the bell for notifications for lessons just like this one. Let me know in the comments, how do you play your A chord? If you're not busy now, why not check out a lesson on the E chord or a lesson on the D chord there. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching, happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalized one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to play an open C major chord, a variation of that chord, and also an easy version too, plus a little bit of theory as well. Playing the C chord, I use 3 fingers here, the first, the second and the third, and I place the fingers like so. The first finger goes on the first fret of the B string, second finger goes on the second fret of the D string or the 4th string, and the third finger goes on the 3rd fret of the A string or the 5th string, and it sounds like this. Beautiful. Going from this chord C to, let's say, A minor is very, very simple. Also, going from C to G major, if you watch the position of these 2 fingers here in particular, you'll see there's not much movement going on. Also as well, going to the G7 chord can be quite easy too. And you'll see that these 2 fingers here don't move too much at all, they're just going across. So when playing the C major chord, strum the top 5 strings only. Use your thumb to dampen the 6th string here, like so. For lessons on the G7, the G or the A minor chord, check the link in the description below. A little bit of theory now, and to make a major chord, all we need are 3 notes. Now we're playing the C major chord, so we're going to use the C major scale, and if you see there are the notes of the C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B and C again. And to make a major chord, as I said, we need 3 notes, and we need the first note of the scale, the 3rd note of the scale and the 5th note of the scale. So based on that there, we're going to be playing the C note, an E note and a G note. Now if you look at the picture of the guitar chord, you'll see that the 3rd finger is playing the C. The 2nd finger is playing an E, but where's the G? Well, the G is the open 3rd string. Pretty heavy, huh? The other notes that we're fingering on the guitar, the first finger is playing a C. Then there is the top string, the 1st string, which is, when it's open, is an E note. So a little bit of theory there, not too heavy. Now here's the variation that I mentioned at the beginning. And if we have a look at the chord chart there, you'll see that the 1st finger and the 2nd finger are doing the same. But we are now using the little finger on the 3rd fret of the A, and the 3rd finger is now playing the 6th string, the low E string, at the 3rd fret. And we get a sound like this. That's quite a full sound. The great thing about this particular way of playing it is that you can play all 6 strings. And this is also the version that Ray Davies uses at the beginning of Lola. C, D and E. So for some beginner guitarists, the C can be a little bit of a stretch using those 3 fingers. Now the easy way to play the C major chord is to use only the 1st and 2nd fingers. So like that there, and you can see it in the diagram too. However, one of the things we've got to do is make sure that we do not play sixth string again, and the fifth string. So we're only playing the top four, like so. And again, the advantages of playing this particular version for beginner guitarists is that it gets you started playing. And it was also my first version too. The other advantage is it makes it supremely easy to go from C to A minor. So if you look at this here, there's the C. Now the A minor, all we are doing is putting the finger there. The disadvantages are that you can only play those top strings, the top four strings. So be really careful. Even though it's the basic version, the easy version, it still uses the same three notes that we need to make a major chord. It still has C, it still has E, and it still has G. However, the order is slightly different. So if you see here, the second finger is playing an E. Then we have a G, which is the open third. Then we have a C, and then an E. Like that there. Beautiful sounding chord. So, E, G, C. Excellent. So if you're getting value out of this, hit the like button, hit that notification button too for new content just like this for beginner guitarists. 3 versions of a C chord. So remembering chords can be quite difficult. So one of the things I would recommend is get yourself one of these, a chord book. Brilliant things and a really, really quick reference. So we have 3 versions of that C chord. Which one are you using? Or which one do you think you'll use now that you've seen them? Why don't you try this lesson here on the G, or try this lesson here on A minor. See you in the next video. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalized one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe. The D major chord, 3 fingers, the first finger, the second finger, and the third finger. And if you look at the guitar chart, and also you can see my fingers here, you'll see where I've got them. The first finger is on the 2nd fret of the G string, or the 3rd string. The third finger there is on the 3rd fret of the B, or 2nd string. And finally we've got that 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the top E string. The other thing you'll notice about the chord chart is that there are 2 X's. There's an X over the 6th string here and the 5th string. And remember, when you see an X over a chord chart, don't play those strings. What you'll have is a sound like this. A lovely, crisp, major chord sound. Beautiful. One of the things I like about this D major chord is how easy I can get from this D to the E major by using this finger here as an anchor and then sliding down 1 fret, keeping the finger on that fret, and then moving over the 2nd, 3rd fingers to the 2nd frets of the A and D string. So, and then the same applies in reverse too. And you'll see the way that that first finger stays anchored onto the fretboard, like so. So just having a look at a little bit of theory now. To make a major chord, or indeed a minor chord, you only need 3 notes. And if you look at the scale of D, we need the first note, which is a D, we need the 3rd note, which is an F sharp, and what we need for the last one is the A. So 3 notes, D, F sharp and A, and that gives us a major triad. And looking on the guitar, well, where are these notes? Well, they're not in the same order as how the stacked triad looks. So what we have here, we have an open D string at the 4th string. We have an A, then we have a D, And then finally we get on the top string we have the F sharp. So we don't have it in the same order, but we do have those notes. If you know your strings, you'll know that this here is an A string. The fifth string is an A string. So we could also, theoretically, we can also play that string as well. It does add a little bit of depth to the chord. Don't feel bad about, if you're not dampening that string. It's not a big deal. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and don't forget to press that notification button as well for more content like this and other guitar lessons for beginners. Now, the alternative version of this chord uses only 2 fingers. It's going to use the first finger and the second finger, like so. The only difficulty is that first finger is kind of doing like a mini bar, like you might find on the easy version of F major. And the second finger is going to be on the 3rd fret of the B string. And of course it sounds exactly the same. You can also use the 3rd finger as well instead of the second, and you can use that second finger there to kind of press down to give extra strength to the first finger. Now this way here, a little bit more difficult, but it is an alternative. There's no real easier way to play this chord. It also happens to be the way that Ray Davies of the Kinks plays this chord. Now if you're a beginner, learning new chords is great fun, but remembering them can be a bit of a chore. So I always recommend a book like this here. It's a simple reference, and I think it's actually a lot quicker than checking your phone or going online and checking there. So get one of these, brilliant things. Let me know which version of the D you play. If you're not busy now, why not check out the lesson on E major here or the A major here. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalized one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe. Hi, in this lesson I'm going to show you how to play an E major chord, the way I do it. I'm going to give you a little bit of theory, and then finally I'm going to give you an alternative way to play this chord. The E major chord uses 3 fingers, the 1st, the 2nd and the 3rd. And if you'll see the chord chart there and have a look at my fingers, we'll see the positions. The 1st finger goes at the 1st fret of the G or 3rd string. The 2nd finger goes on the 2nd fret of the A or 5th string, and then the 3rd finger tucks in behind the 2nd at the same fret, the 2nd, but of the D or 4th fret. It's a great chord, and for this you can play all 6 strings, and it gives you a really great major chord sound. The great thing from this chord, you can go to the A chord relatively easy by lifting up the 1st finger, shifting over these 2 fingers here, and then sticking the little finger at the 2nd fret there. Also, going to the E minor chord is so easy because all you need to do is just lift up the 1st finger. So you've got the major and then the minor. Great sounds. If you're not sure of those other chords, then please check the link in the description for lessons on them. So let's talk a little bit about the theory of that chord. Now, to make a chord, basically what you need are 3 notes, and these 3 notes make up what we call a triad. And there's the E major scale there, and to make a chord and make an E major chord, we need the 1st note, the 3rd note and the 5th note of the scale. And in this case what we have is an E, a G sharp and a B. Those are the 3 notes that we need to make up this chord. And if we actually look on the guitar, we'll find where that triad is, and it's on the 2nd fret of the D. That gives us an E note. The 1st fret of the G gives us our G sharp, and then we have the open B string gives us, well, the B. And as I said, you can play all the strings on this chord because the low note here is an E. The next string, the 5th string, at the 2nd fret is, at the 2nd fret is a B. So we've got E and a B. Really great sound that, isn't it? If you're getting value out of this lesson, then please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and press that notification bell to get more content just like this. An alternative way of playing this chord, and it's the way that Paul McCartney plays this chord, is we're still using the 1st, 2nd and 3rd fingers. The 1st finger is still at the same fret, the 1st one of the G or the 3rd string, but these two swap around. So we now have the 2nd finger on the D string at the 2nd fret, and then the 3rd finger comes over to the 2nd fret of the A string. For me that's a little bit uncomfortable. I much prefer it this way. I like tucking in the 3rd finger behind the 2nd. That feels so much more natural. Maybe that's just the way I learnt it, I'm not sure. The other problem I have with the alternative version is that sometimes this finger here touches this low E string and I get a dampened sound. Which is why I prefer my way. Let me know which version of the E chord you use. Do you use my way or do you use the McCartney way? If you're not busy now, why not click the link here for a lesson on the A major chord, or here for a lesson on the E minor chord. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalized one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe. The F chord is probably one of the most difficult beginner chords. We're going to look at a few ways to play this chord, a standard beginner's way, and a couple of easy ways if you find that standard one a little stretched too far. So let's dive into the standard version, but stick around for some beginner guitar theory and then those easy Fs. So there's the F chord and you can see the finger positions. And this is what I consider to be the standard beginner's way. And it's that 1st finger that often causes problems here, because this finger is flattened across the top E and the B string. Well, my friends, you need to flatten the 1st finger over the 2 strings like this, as you can see. It's not flat like that, because that's not the way it's going to work. It's going to be too difficult. You often see it in guitar chord books like that, but it should be like that, sort of kind of, you're using that part of the fingers and you can see where the groove of the strings is, and because not on the flat part there, like so. Now play those two and you should get something like this. Okay. You know, the 2 strings are ringing out nicely. Now for the other 2 fingers, it's fairly straightforward. The 2nd finger here on the 2nd fret of the 3rd or G string, and the 3rd finger at the 3rd fret of the 4th or D string. Try not to play the open A or 5th string or the low E string as indicated by the X's on the guitar chart just there. So remember, when you see an X over a string in a chord chart, it means not to play it. If you see an O, on the other hand, play the string. The F chord should sound like this when you strum it. And you can hear all the strings ringing out nice and clearly, and these two dampened. The low E string is being dampened by my thumb, and the 5th string there is being dampened by my 3rd finger there. It's just touching the string. Let's try progression, and here's a very common chord progression. As you can see there, we've got C, F, G and C. Very common progression. And if you need any help with those chords, then please check the description down below for links to those lessons. One thing you'll notice is that these 2 fingers here, the 2nd and the 3rd, for the F, the C and the G, they are in the same position. So there's C, there's F, there's G, they're on the same frets. They don't move, so you're not going to be shifting about, fingers aren't going to be going around here. Keep them as close together as you can while you're changing. So let's have a go at this. C, F and G. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so watching those fingers, you'll have seen those there just shifting back and forward as you're changing from C to F to G. So a quick bit of theory for a guitar chord, a major guitar chord or even a minor guitar chord. To make a basic guitar chord, also known as a triad, we need the 1st note, the 3rd note and the 5th note of the scale. In this case it's the F major scale. And if you look at the diagram there, you'll notice that the 1st is an F, the 3rd is an A, and the 5th is a C. And also looking at the guitar, if you look at my fingers there, that there is an F, the 3rd fret of the D string. This one here, the 2nd finger, is playing an A on the 2nd fret of the G string. And the 1st finger is on the 1st fret because that's a C. On the F, as well as we are flattening that finger, that top string here is an F as well. So these 2 are the same note, just an octave apart, separated by 8 notes. Just a little bit of theory there. So as I mentioned at the beginning, we've got a couple of variations that we could use if you find that particular version, that standard one, a little bit tricky. So here's the first one. Have a look at this and you'll see that the 3rd finger, the 2nd finger and the 1st finger are in exactly the same position. However, we are not flattening that 1st finger. That's one of the things that causes many beginner guitarists a bit of stress, getting that little flattened part there. So we're not going to play that. And the great thing is, it doesn't matter if your finger is touching that top string, because we don't really want it to ring, because then it won't be an F chord. Okay, so, and we're still only playing those 3 strings. Okay, the 6th and the 5th, we're going to dampen those because we don't really need them, because this one here is our lowest note. And so, like this, it's a much thinner sound compared to the standard version because you don't have that top F note there. But it's good enough. It's definitely good enough to get you going. Now the second version, well, the second version uses the 1st finger flattened on the top 2 strings. And the only other thing that we're going to use is the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, and that's it, and no more. Okay, and with this one here, we are only now going to play those 3 strings. We can't play this one, the D, can't play the A or the E. Okay, so you need a little bit more control with your right hand or your strumming hand. So like this. Again, it's quite a thin sound, but once again, it'll get you going if you find the other two versions a little difficult. And this one was the first version of F that I learned back in 1986. If you're not busy now, why not check out this playlist for all basic open guitar chords. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalized one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe. Hi, in this guitar lesson for beginners, I'm going to show you how to play an open G major chord, a variation of that chord, and also an easy chord, plus a little bit of theory. When I play the G major chord, I use 3 fingers, these 3 here, the 4th, the 3rd and the 2nd finger. And if you look on the guitar chart up there, you'll see where I place the fingers. I've got the little finger on the 3rd fret of the top E string. I've got the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. And I've got the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string. And it sounds like this. So I like to play the G major chord like that with those 3 fingers because I find it's very easy to go from G to other chords. So for example, such as G to C. There's your G position and there's the C position. And you'll see that these fingers here, that one there and that one there, don't move very much. Also going from G to G7 is a cinch. Look at this. One finger's changing. Going from something like G to E minor is also quite simple as well. There's your E minor, and you'll see that this finger here stays on the same place. Check out the link in the description for the other chords, E minor, C, G7. They're all in the description. So here's a little bit of theory. No rolling your eyes. To make up a major chord, you need a minimum of 3 notes, also known as a triad. And if you look here, there's a G major scale. And the 3 notes that you need to make up a chord are the 1st note in the scale, the 3rd note in the scale, and the 5th note in the scale. So if you look at that scale there, the notes that you're going to need are G, B, and D. So looking at the picture of the guitar just there, you'll see the low 6th string at the 3rd fret is a G note. You'll see that the 2nd fret of the A string is a B note. But where's the D? Well, it's the open string. The open 4th string is a D. So there we have our triad, G, B, and D. Now the other strings on the guitar, what are they doing then? Well, the 3rd string, the open string, is a G. The 2nd string, again it's open, it's a B. And that top E string is also playing a G, just like the bottom E string. So there, in those 6 strings are the notes that we need to make a G chord. Now let's have a look at the variation I mentioned earlier. And we'll talk about the easy version after this, so stay tuned. Now the variation again uses 3 fingers, but this time instead of using these 3 fingers, it uses these 3 fingers, the 1st, the 2nd and the 3rd. And they go onto the fretboard like this here. The 3rd finger goes on the top E string at the 3rd fret. The 1st finger goes on the A string at the 2nd fret. And the 2nd finger goes at the 3rd fret of the low E string. And exactly the same as before, you can play all strings like that, and there you go. It's a perfectly good shape. Many guitarists use it, but the reason why I prefer the other version that I showed you before is because of how easy it is to get to other chords. So for example, if we look at this version of the chord G here, and then we try to change to C, there's a lot more going on. And for a beginner guitarist, that can be quite a difficult change. The same again for G to G7. A lot happening. Even though it's a great way of playing the chord, it's not my favourite way. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't learn it. Okay, so here's the easy version. And the great thing about this, it uses only one finger. I'm going to use the third finger here. And it's going to go on the top E string at the third fret. Like that there. Now be careful here. When you play this one, only play the top 4 strings. Now the advantages to this easy version is that, well, yeah, it's only one finger. Also, it gets you started playing this rather difficult beginner's chord. And also, this was the first version I used. The disadvantages, on the other hand, is that you can only play the top 4 strings, as I mentioned, and so you need to use your thumb to dampen these 2 strings. And otherwise you'll have this sound here, which is quite murky, it's quite muddy, and it's not what we're after. And plus, these 2 strings are not part of a G major chord. If you're getting value out of this lesson, then please hit the notification button for more content just like this. Something I would always recommend to beginner guitarists when you're learning new chords is, yeah, they can be difficult to remember. So I would always recommend having a little guitar book on hand just in case you forget. Something like, da-da! This is a great little book, the Guitar Case Chord Book. You can keep it with you at all times. And it has all the guitar chords you need. So which version of the open G chord do you like? The first version, my preference, the second version, or the easy version? In fact, where are you on your guitar journey? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. So why don't you check out this lesson on C here, or this lesson on G7 here, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching, happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalized one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe. In this lesson for beginner guitarists, I'm going to show you how to play an open A minor chord, and I'm also going to give you a little bit of theory too. So stick around. The A minor chord uses 3 fingers, the first finger, the second finger, and the third finger. And the first finger goes on the first fret of the B string, the second string. The second finger goes on the 4th string at the 2nd fret. And then this finger here, the third finger, tucks in behind that finger at the same fret, but on the G or the 3rd string. And we get this really lovely minor chord sound. Beautiful sound. Now changing from this chord to other chords such as the C chord is pretty easy. For example, going to C, we're going to lift up this finger here and we're going to place it right there at the 3rd fret of the 5th string or A string. And you can immediately hear the change. A minor, C. Another simple change is from A minor to E major. Really simple, because the whole thing you're going to lift up and then move it that way, 1 string. And you can see in the chord diagram, A minor, E major. Going from A minor to the A major chord is a piece of cake. All we're going to do, there's your A minor, we're going to lift up this first finger here And we're going to stick the fourth finger in behind the third finger, like so there. And again, you can immediately hear the change from minor to major. Minor. So that's sad to happy sound. Okay, just a little bit of theory on how to make an A minor chord. Now there's an A minor scale there, you'll see the notes there. And to make a chord, we just need 3 notes. And the notes that we need are the first note, which is an A, the third note, which is a C, and the fifth note, which is an E. And if you look on the guitar here, let's find the triad. So we've got the A note, which is the 2nd fret of the G string. We've got the C note, which is the 1st fret of the B string, and then the top E string. Oh, there you go. And so that's our triad. But there are other notes that we're playing. We're also playing here on the 4th string, the D string at the 2nd fret. This is also an E, like the top string. And the 5th string here, this open string here, is an A. Just like here on the 2nd fret of the G. So those are octaves. Now, technically we could play this string here, the low E string, as well. You'll notice that in the chord diagram there is an X over it. Usually we just play the top 5 strings, with the 5th string being the low A note, giving us kind of the bass note, the root note. But it's not wrong to play all 6 strings, but for me it sounds a bit murky, a bit muddy. If you're getting value out of this, please hit the like button and the subscribe button and press that notification bell for more content just like this. If you're not busy now, why not hit the link here for a lesson on E, or hit the link here for a lesson on A. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching, happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalized one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe. That's a basic version of the B minor chord. A lovely sounding chord. This version uses 4 fingers. Stick around and I'll show you a simpler version later. So let's get into this and let's have a look at the first shape that I showed you at the beginning. And as I said, it uses 4 fingers. We're using the 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th finger. And you can see from the diagram there, we've got the 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the top E string. We've got the 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. The 4th finger now comes next on the 3rd fret of the G. And finally, the 3rd finger goes onto the 4th fret of the D string. And you get this chord. And you'll also see from the diagram that the 6th and 5th strings are not played. So we need to dampen those strings, otherwise we'll have a rather nasty sound. So the thumb is going to dampen the bottom E string, like so. And what we can do is we can use this finger here, the 3rd finger, to lightly touch the 5th string. And so you're getting that there, while still having this sound. And so we've got that now. We've got those 2 strings dampened, so we can now play the whole chord and not worry about getting dodgy sounds. Like that. Now, whenever learning a new chord, one thing you should always do is make sure that each string rings out. So once you've put the chord on, play each string individually. And doing that allows you to then adjust your fingers if, for example, you've got something like this. So So you're not too good. So you can just adjust your fingers and make sure that your fingers are slightly behind the fret. You don't want your finger on the frets, you want them just behind. Like so, and that gives you that really clear sound that we all really want. Okay, so let's get into a little bit of theory now. To form a basic major chord or a minor chord, we need 3 notes. And because we're trying to play a B minor chord, we need the notes from the B minor scale. And there you can see the scale. And to make a chord, we need the first note, the third note, and the fifth note. The first note is a B, the third note is a D, and the fifth note is an F sharp. And if you look at the guitar and also the diagram, you'll see our fourth finger is playing the B. Our second finger is playing the D, and our first finger is playing that F sharp. And this third finger here is also playing an F sharp too. So those 2 strings are actually the same notes, but your basic chord is these 3 notes here. Okay, how about a bit of practice now before we look at the other shape? And this is a turnaround progression that uses 4 chords: D, the B minor, G, and an A chord. So there's the progression up there. So play along. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here is an alternative version. Instead of playing a G, we're going to use an E minor. And this is also the same progression the Beatles use in the verses of This Boy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's look at the alternative way of playing this B minor shape. And we're only going to use 3 fingers. We can use our first, second, and third finger. The first and second finger will play exactly the same thing. They'll play the top E string at the 2nd fret, the B string at the 3rd fret, and it's the 3rd finger next, and that's going to go where the 4th finger went on the previous shape. Just like that there. Now we're only going to be playing these 3 strings, so make sure you're dampening, or make sure you've got better control of your plectrum. So you're going to, as I said, you're only going to play the top 3 strings like so. If you find yourself strumming too hard and playing all of the strings, you'll get this. It's not the worst sound in the world, but it's not the best B minor you're going to play. So try and have a bit of control over your strumming hand as well. You can of course use this finger here to lightly touch the D string there, and the thumb is going to hold onto that string there. But this one, you can possibly just touch it with your thumb too, but it's a little bit harder. It's getting more complicated all the time. Now that you know that chord, why don't you go back to the practice turnaround progressions and play along to those too. If you need any help with any of those chords that we've looked at in this lesson, then why not check out the links in the description to playlists. That will help you get the A chord or the G chord or the D chord. If there are any questions that you have that you'd like answered about beginner's guitar playing, then let me know in the comments. Or if there's anything particular that you'd like me to record for you, again, let me know in the comments. But until then, check out any playlists or go and try this lesson here. Thanks for watching, happy strumming, see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching, happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalized one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe. In this beginner's guitar lesson, I'm going to show you three things. I'm going to show you how to play an open D minor chord, the way I play it. I'm going to give you a little bit of theory, and then at the end, I'm going to show you an alternative way of playing this open D minor chord. So stick around. The open D minor chord uses three fingers. It uses the first, third, and fourth fingers. That's the way I play it. Have a look at this. I've got the first finger on the first fret of the top E string. I've got the second finger on the second fret of the G or third string. And then finally I've got the little finger here on the third fret of the B string. And if you look at the diagram, you'll see that we play the top four strings. There's an X over the fifth and the sixth. And we have that nice melancholic sound there. Beautiful little sound. The great thing about using this fingering is how we can change quite easily to one of the more difficult basic chords, which is the F major. And you'll see from the D minor here to the F, this finger is going to come off. This finger here, the third finger, is going to go onto the third fret of the D string. And then this finger here has to kind of flatten those top two strings. And we get that chord there. And again, we're only playing the top strings, the top four strings. So from there to there. And you've got this second finger here anchoring you on the fretboard, keeping you there. So just a little bit of theory about the D minor chord. Now, to make up a minor chord, we need three notes, and the three notes for the D minor chord come from the D minor scale, which you'll see just there. And the three notes we need are the first, the third note, and the fifth note of the scale. So that's the D, the F, and the A. Those three notes. So let's find those notes on the guitar. And if we put the D minor chord back on, and we're playing the top four strings, this first note here is the D. There's a D. The second fret of the G string is the A. Now here we have the fourth finger. Now that's not actually playing an F, that's playing a D. So that on the open string and are the same note. So these two, same note. So one last finger there, the first fret of the top E string, that is the F. So even though the notes on the guitar are not in the same order, it's still the same chord because we have D, we have an F, and we have an A. Just not in the same way that it is in that picture there. If you're getting value out of this, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and press the notification bell so that you get more content like this. So I mentioned at the beginning that there is an alternative way of playing this, and we're still going to use three fingers, but we're not going to use the first, the third, and the fourth, but we're going to use the first, the second, and the third. The first finger is going to go on the same fret on the E string, the first fret. The second finger is going to do the same again. It's going to go on the second fret of the G, but instead of using the fourth finger here, like the way I prefer to do it, we're going to use the third finger, and it's going to go like so. So that's an alternative way, and you know, if you have trouble using the little finger, then definitely go for the alternative way. So for beginner guitarists, there are so many chords to learn, which makes it pretty hard to remember them all. So I would recommend having one of these, a guitar chord book. I think they're a quicker reference than going to your phone or going online and checking, especially if your internet goes down as often as mine does. How are you playing your D minor chord? Are you playing it the way I play it, with the first finger, the second and the fourth? or are you playing it using the first, second and third? Let me know in the comments. If you're not busy now, why not check out the lesson on F major, or check out this playlist here that has all the basic open chords. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalized one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe. In this Guitar for Beginners lesson, I'm going to show you three things. I'm going to show you how to play an open E minor chord. I'm going to give you a little bit of theory, and I'm going to give you an alternative as well, so stick around to the end. The open E minor chord uses two fingers, and the way I play it, it uses the second finger, oops, and the third finger. And if you look at the chord chart up there, you'll see the position of the fingers too. And I play it like so. I've got the second finger on the second fret of the A string, and I've got the third finger on the second fret of the D string, or the fourth string. It sounds like this. It's a lovely sound there, nice minor chord sound. And the good thing about this particular shape is that it's very easy to change from E minor to A minor. Back again, E minor to A minor. It's also very, very easy to go from E minor to E major. There's your E minor chord, and then that first finger comes on to the first fret of the G and brightens up the sound. Now, a little bit of theory with this minor chord. In general, a chord uses three notes, whether it's minor or major. And if you look at the scale there, that's E minor. And to make a minor chord, an E minor chord, we use the first note, the third note and the fifth note. We've got an E, G and B. So looking at it on the guitar, it's the fourth string, the D string at the second fret, which has an E, the open G string and the open B. That's our three notes, or triad. But of course on the guitar we can play, with this chord, we can play all six strings because they all sound pretty good. So just a little bit of theory there for you. If you're getting value out of this, hit the like button and the subscribe button, and don't forget to press that little bell that goes ding 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 for notifications for future content just like this one. Okay, here's an alternative version of the E minor chord like I mentioned at the beginning. And instead of using the second and third fingers, we're going to be using the first and second fingers like so. They're at the same fret, so you've got the first finger now on the second fret of the A or fifth string, and you've got the second finger on the second fret of the fourth string or the D string. And of course, you play exactly the same and it sounds exactly the same. I prefer it the other way because it's much easier to go from E minor to E or E minor to A minor. The other thing I find is that the first finger and the second finger feel like they have to press a little bit harder because there's not as much strength in those fingers, whereas using these two fingers, the second finger and the third finger, I feel like I'm much stronger. I feel like I'm Superman. Remembering chords can be pretty difficult when you're a beginner guitarist, so I always recommend having one of these, a guitar chord book, because I think they're a much better and a much quicker reference than checking on the internet and checking on your phone, especially if the internet's down. So have one of these on you. Brilliant things. Let me know in the comments which version you use at the moment. Do you use the way I play it, or do you play it with the first and the second fingers? If you're not busy now, click on this link here to see a lesson on E major, or click on this link here to see a lesson on A minor. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalized one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe. In this Guitar for Beginners lesson, we're going to have a look at the B major chord. The B major shape uses 4 fingers, the first finger, second, third and fourth, and is very, very similar to the B flat and the A shape chord. The similarity is the fact that we use these 3 fingers here, the second, third and fourth. And on the B major chord, these fingers will go on the 4th fret of the D, the G and the B string. Now that gives us, but we also need one more finger, that one there, and this one is going to go on the 1st string, the top E string, at the 2nd fret, like so. You can see it there. And with all new guitar shapes, check that these strings all ring out. So they all sound pretty good. Give it a try. Using this basic shape, we only need these top 4 strings. So the low E and the A string, the 5th string, are dampened. Okay, the thumb is dampening the E string, and it's the 2nd finger here that is just touching the A string. Remember also that your fingers should be as close as you can to the fret, but not on, because you'll get that kind of thing. As close as you can. Now don't get discouraged if your chord isn't sounding like that. It will take a bit of time, but you'll get there in the end, don't you worry about it. To make a B major chord, we need the 1st note, the 3rd note and the 5th note. And the 1st note is a B. The 3rd note is a D sharp and the 5th note is an F sharp. And if we translate that to the guitar, let's look at the strings that we're fretting. So on the D string at the 4th fret, the 2nd finger is playing an F sharp. Now here, from the G string is where the triad begins. The G string is playing a B note here at the 4th fret. The B string at the 4th fret is a D sharp note, and the top E string at the 2nd fret is an F sharp. So these 2 fingers here, the 2nd and the 1st finger, are the same notes. They're both F sharps. Just a little bit of theory for you there. Now there are no really easy ways of playing this. This is as basic as you can get. One other way that some guitarists like to play this is by taking everything off, using the 1st finger to play the D, the G and the B strings, like that. And you'll have to make sure that the 1st finger is touching, just touching mind you, the 5th string, and the thumb is still dampening. The 6th string will be dampened just by the flesh of your finger. And you have that sound. So let me know how you go with either this one or this one by leaving me a comment down below. So let's try a little practice. We're going to do a little simple chord progression using E, A and B. If you're not sure about A or you're not sure about E, then check the links in the description for a lesson on those. So we're going to play 2 bars of E, 2 bars of A, 2 bars of B, and then we'll finish on an E. So follow me or play along. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, when playing the chord progression, you don't want to be speeding up, you don't want to be slowing down. Keep the rhythm as even and as steady as possible. If you want a little extra practice for the B chord, I'm going to leave a link up there. Click it and you'll go to a 12-bar blues progression in E, which will practice E, A and B. Give it a go. If you're not busy now, why not check out this link here for a playlist of all basic chords that'll get you playing all your favourite songs. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalised one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe. In this Guitar for Beginners lesson, we're going to have a look at the B flat chord. The B flat chord uses the first, second, third and fourth fingers. It's very, very similar to the A chord. And if you have a look at the A shape here, it's like that. And to play the B flat chord, all we're going to do is move up those fingers that you've currently got on, move them up one fret, like so. There you go. And we're going to put this finger here, the first finger, now onto the first fret of the top E string or the first string, and you'll get this sound. The thing you may have just noticed there is that I'm not playing the fifth string or the sixth string. And both of those strings are being dampened, and the fifth string is being dampened by the second finger, which is just lightly touching the string, and the sixth string is being dampened by the thumb there. So go ahead, put on the chord and give it a little play like so. A little bit of theory now. Major chords and minor chords are usually made up of just 3 notes, also known as a triad, and the B flat is no different, even though we're using 4 fingers. So let's have a look. On the screen there you'll see the B flat scale, which is where we get the B flat chord from. And the notes that we need are the first note, the third note and the fifth note. And in the case of B flat, the first note is a B flat, the third note is a D, and the fifth note is an F. And let's find those notes on the guitar. For the B flat chord, we are playing only the top 4 strings. Remember that the A and the E are dampened. The 4th string or the D string is playing an F. The 3rd string or the G string is playing a B flat. The 2nd string or the B string is playing a D, and then the top string there, the E string, is playing an F. So the triad is actually starting on the G, the B and the E string. Those strings there give us the triad. But because the F is part of the chord, we are playing this as well. And just a little bit of theory there. The version we're using here is a typical standard version of the B flat. Another way that this could be played is by removing the second finger and trying not to make it look obscene, strumming the top 3 strings. This is a slightly easier way if you find the stretch for this finger just a little bit too much. It sounds a little bit thinner, but it's an easier way, an easier introduction to play this chord. Another alternative to playing this is by flattening the first finger across the D, the G and the B string. You're only playing those three strings. The top E string is not going to sound because the kind of the skin here on your finger is dampening it. And touching the fifth string with your first finger and using the thumb to dampen the low E string. And you're only playing those three notes there. It's another possibility you can try out if you find the standard version a little bit tricky, or if you feel that the other alternative is not to your liking, you can try it like this. If you're getting value out of this lesson, then hit the notification buttons to stay up to date with future content. Let's try this B flat chord in a little practice progression, and we're going to try it in a simple chord progression using F and C as well. And if you're not sure about those chords, why not check the link in the description for lessons on those. And the chord progression that we're going to do is a simple one. It's just F for 2 bars, B flat for 2 bars, C for 2 bars, and then finishing off with an F. So play along with me. We'll keep this nice and slow. And remember, try to keep the rhythm as steady as you can. Try and make each string ring out as well as you can. But of course, if you can't, don't panic. It'll come with practice. 1, 2, 3, 4. How was that? How did you find that? Why not let me know in the comment section down below. If you're not busy now, why not check out this playlist for all the basic chords that you'll need to get yourself started. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalized one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe. Hi there. The C sharp minor chord is one of those pretty difficult beginner guitarist chords. There are no open strings, so every string that you play is fretted, and it's also played further up the fretboard than most basic chords. In this Guitar for Beginners lesson, I'm going to show you two versions of the C sharp minor chord. The first version I think is the best of the easiest versions and uses 4 fingers. The second version uses 3 fingers, but for me doesn't sound as good. However, the benefits of both these versions is that they are not bar chords and will get you playing your favorite songs that use C sharp minor, and you'll be playing those songs quicker than you expected. So here we are. We're at the 4th fret of the guitar right there, and the first finger is going to play the 4th fret on the top E string or the 1st string. The second finger will play the 5th fret of the B or 2nd string. Now the 3rd and 4th fingers are both at the same fret. They're both at the 6th fret on different strings. The 4th finger is tucked in here on the 3rd or G string, and then the 3rd finger comes over and is on the D or 4th string. And that's the shape of the chord, which you can also see in the diagram. So before you strum it, make sure that all the strings ring out. And I often do this just by playing each individual string, just checking that they ring out like so. Sometimes with a chord like this where all the fingers are bunched up together, you may find that the odd finger may muffle another string. It's quite common for this finger here, the fourth finger, to be kind of pressing down like that a little bit. So all the fingers should be as arched as possible. They should be kind of arched up like this as possible in order to avoid that kind of muffling of the strings. This is also where patience comes in. You know, getting this chord sounding perfect straight away is not going to happen overnight, okay? Especially when you're changing from this particular chord to another and then coming back again. When you're strumming this, you're only going to be playing the top 4 strings. And you can see from the diagram that these 4 strings are the D, the G, the B, and the top E strings. So you're only going to be playing these 4 here. So the 5th and 6th strings aren't played with this version of the chord. So you'll need to do one of 2 things here. So first of all, you want to have more control over your strumming hand and try not to play those strings. Or the second thing is you're going to need to use your thumb and your 3rd finger here to try to dampen these 2 strings. So the thumb is lightly touching this, and this one here is again lightly touching the 5th. Now for the moment, if I were you, I'd recommend the first option. Just focus on hitting the top 4 strings. Now remember, you really want to be taking these first steps slowly, and it's something you want to be doing when learning anything new. So take your time with this. Keep that strumming hand pretty close to the guitar for the moment. You can be all Pete Townsend-like a little bit later. Wow, look at that right hand go. Before we look at the second version, the easier version, let's do a little practice progression of this particular shape. And we're going to do a really classic chord progression, and we're going to be playing E, C sharp minor, A, and B. So all these chords are from the key of E, and if you need help with those chords, then check out the link in the description for some basic chord lessons for beginners. So listen to me or play along with me. Here we go, nice and slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. That's a really classic chord progression, that E, C sharp minor, A, B. And you'll hear that particular chord progression in other keys as well, not just in E. For example, if it's in D, it would be D, B minor, G, and A. And it's one of my all-time favorites, and it's featured in many, many rock and roll songs. For example, Sam Cooke's Wonderful World. And if you want the chords to that, I'll leave a link in the description for you. I like this version of the C sharp minor. I think it's a good one to start with. However, it can sound a little trebly, but it will get you started. However, if you're having problems with that particular version, then let's look at this second version here. So you're only using 3 fingers, first, second, and third fingers for this. And the first 2 fingers are in the same position as version 1 of this chord. So on the top E string at the 4th fret for the first finger, the B string or the 5th string and we're at the 5th fret here. And then finally, this is where the change comes in. The 3rd finger is going to be on the 6th fret of the G or 3rd string. Nothing else is played, so now you need to have a little bit more control over your strumming hand, as you're only playing the top 3 strings. You're only playing these ones here now. It is a little bit easier, but for me it's far too trebly when compared to the first version I showed you. So you've got this one here, and then Listen, why don't you give it a try with that last chord progression? If you have a question about this particular guitar chord shape, or in fact anything beginner guitar related, then leave a comment down below. That's also where you'll find links to other beginner guitar lessons. The first version of that chord I think is pretty cool, and there's a lot more you can do with that. And if you want to find out more, then check the link in the description or somewhere around here. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. Don't know much about a science book. And don't know much about the French I took. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalized one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe. The G sharp minor is one of those tricky beginner guitar chords. If you've ever seen it used in a song, you may have seen the chord diagram and it may have looked pretty complicated. The chord diagram sometimes looks impossible to play, or there may even be different versions of the impossible to play, or even worse, a bar chord. Hi there and welcome to Guitar for Beginners. And in this guitar lesson, I'm going to show you the shape that I first learned to help me play the G sharp minor chord. Up until then, I'd been learning songs from the 50s, simple rock and roll songs. But as I was getting better, I needed slightly more complicated chords. And G sharp minor kept cropping up every now and then. And I had a lot of trouble with it. And then finally I found this particular version and that got me through. Okay, so let's get into this. And first of all, we're going to put on the E minor chord. And what we're going to do right now is the little routine that helped me to really learn this G sharp minor chord. And if you're not sure about the E minor chord, then there's a link to a beginner's guitar lesson in the description. So here's the E minor chord. Now take off the second finger and try not to be too offensive with it. And what we're left with here is the third finger on the second fret of the D string and all these other open strings here. But we're just going to focus on these four strings here, the top four strings. Okay. And now what we're going to do is move this finger up 1, 2, 3, 4 frets, and so now we're on the 6th fret here. And as we've moved this finger up 4 frets, we also need to move this part of the guitar up as well, but we can't do that. So what we're going to do is now use our first finger to take its place. And so we're going to need to flatten this finger across the top 3 strings here. So now this is where it can get a little bit difficult. So you need to make sure that your finger is like this, kind of on its side, okay? On its side there like that. You don't want it flat like that because it's impossible to play. So you're going to have it on its side there, slightly arched up like that. And to give your first finger the necessary strength to press those strings down, use the thumb behind to push in the opposite direction. And to play it, we're only going to strum the top 4 strings, just these 4 strings here. So you're going to need to have a bit of control over your strumming hand when you're playing with a plectrum. When you first try this chord, you'll probably get something like this. Now don't panic, it happens to all of us. And what you need here is a little bit of practice and a little bit of patience. It won't happen overnight, but you'll get there. Eventually, and without a doubt, you will get this. So you're only playing the top 4 strings. So one thing you want to do is avoid playing string 5 and string 6. And a way to dampen those strings is use the second finger here to kind of just touch the 5th and the 6th string. Okay, so you're just touching them like this, like that there, and that will avoid having, that's not a particularly nice sound, but when you've got that there, it sounds a lot better. Something I used to do a lot to check that I was playing the chord right was to hold the chord down. So there's the G sharp minor chord, and to play each string individually to make sure that they ring out. Because remember, you want something like this and not, all right, all 4 strings really ought to ring out. And if you're pressing hard with the first finger and you've got the thumb behind you pushing against you, that should enable you to get a nice clear sound after a little bit of practice. Another thing I used to do when practicing this chord, or in fact any new chord, was to put the chord on, then take it off, then put it on, then take it off. So just like this. So there's the chord on and off, on, off. Just kind of seeing how quickly I can get from nowhere to the chord shape like that. For a bit of practice, here's a short chord progression using the major chords in E, which are E, A and B, and the G sharp minor chord. Now I like this progression because it moves you around the fretboard a little bit, but remember, take it slow, there's no need to rush. And also try to make sure that your chords are all ringing out clear. And you also want to make sure that you are playing in time. Remember, when you're playing rhythm guitar, you're backing a singer, and you know, you want to be in time. So here's the chord progression: E, G sharp minor, A and B. So let's have a look at this. I'm going to play it for you nice and slow with a really simple downstroke strumming rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a great chord shape, and it's pretty versatile too. And if you want to see what else you can do with this guitar chord shape, and I stress the word shape, then check out this video here. Thanks for watching, and happy strumming. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching, happy strumming. Let me just break in here for a second. If you want more personalized one-on-one online lessons, then you can take classes with me. I'm on a platform called Till. The link is down below in the description, just below the like and subscribe.